Let's talk about Ethereum. It's an absolute powerhouse in the crypto world, right? And the one question that seems to be on everyone's mind is what could it actually be worth by 2030? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that. We'll explore the forecasts from the super optimistic to the really cautious to get a better handle on what might be shaping its future.
So, why all the hype around Ethereum? Well, because it's so much more than just another cryptocurrency. You can think of it as the foundational layer, kind of like the operating system, for a massive part of the digital economy. We're talking everything from DeFi, that's decentralized finance, to NFTs, and even the layer 2s that are making the whole network way faster and more efficient.
Because it's so central to everything, its future price is, a huge topic of conversation. So, let's get into it. Before we look all the way out to 2030, let's start a bit closer to home with the short-term forecasts. And let me tell you, they paint two very, very different pictures.
Okay, first up, let's look at the bull case. This is the optimistic scenario, where pretty much everything goes right for Ethereum, investor sentiment is high, and adoption just explodes.
In this scenario, some analysts are looking at price targets as high as $7,000 by the year 2026. Now, that's a pretty significant climb from where we are today. So what exactly needs to happen for Ethereum to even get close to that level? Well, this optimism really hangs on three key things. First, the approval of Ethereum ETFs, which would make it way easier for mainstream investors to buy in. Second, those scaling upgrades we mentioned have to keep working, making the network faster and cheaper to use. And if those two things happen, they could trigger the third driver, a huge flood of new money pouring into the ecosystem. But for every bull, there's always a bear. So now let's flip the coin and explore the more cautious outlook and the potential roadblocks that could really stand in Ethereum's way. In the bearish scenario, some see the price potentially falling below $2,300 by 2026. The gap between that and the bull case is just massive, which really highlights the significant risks we're dealing with here.
So what could possibly cause such a downswing? The main worries are things like increasing regulatory pressure from governments all over the world, bigger economic problems like a recession, and of course, the rise of stronger, faster competitor blockchains that could start to eat away at Ethereum's market share. So you might be asking, how can two professional forecasts be so incredibly far apart? The answer really comes down to one word: volatility. If you look at Ethereum's history, it's a story of these massive swings, these huge, sharp rallies, followed by really deep pullbacks. Understanding that is pretty much key to understanding the asset itself.
Okay, so with that short-term tug-of-war in mind, let's zoom out a bit. It's time to shift our focus to the longer-term outlook, all the way out to the 2030 horizon. Looking this far ahead means we have to focus on the really fundamental drivers. We're talking about things like actual network usage, how much activity is really happening on the blockchain. Then there's the adoption of layer 2s, those upgrades for speed and cost. We also have to think about demand from big institutions, the ripple effect of Bitcoin's four-year cycles, and of course, the overall health of the entire global economy. So when you put all those drivers together, what do you get for 2030? Well, analysts basically see three main scenarios playing out. A moderate growth path could put Ethereum somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. A really bullish outcome where everything just clicks into place could push it past $15,000. But a more cautious scenario where challenges pop up might see it stay below $7,000. And if we dare to look even further out, say to 2040 or 2050, the crystal ball gets much, much cloudier. The range of potential prices just becomes enormous. And that's simply because the amount of uncertainty just multiplies with every single year that passes. So after looking at all these numbers, all these different scenarios, what's the single most important thing to take away from all of this? Here's the crucial point. Every single price we've talked about is just a forecast. Think of it as guidance, not a guarantee. This is a market that's shaped by extreme volatility, unpredictable regulation, and technological breakthroughs that are almost impossible to see coming. And that really leaves us with this final big question to think about as we look towards 2030. Which of these powerful opposing forces is going to win out? Will it be the relentless pace of innovation that drives growth, or will it be the steady hand of regulation and the pressure of competition that ultimately decides Ethereum's path? The answer to that question will truly shape everything.